Hey there, guys. Welcome to the July AI workshop, and we got some pretty exciting stuff to hop in here. So I'm just gonna share my browser and actually get started in the thing I'm most excited to show off. So a really cool thing that ChatGPT released is called this agent mode. And I've played with it. They released it last week, and I've used it a couple times, and it is just absolutely fantastic. So while this is running, I'll show you guys a couple other things. But we've been using live search in a website has been around for a while. And what this does is it searches the web live, but it actually gives you a browser inside the instance here to go ahead and search and book flights for you. So you can have it book a hotel, book a flight. You can have it search for a reservation. Uh, so this is an example of I have two team members down in our Fort Myers branch, and they're coming up for our October retreat. So I'll just press continue. So I want it to go find what's the easiest way. No. All right. So I didn't do that 2 seconds ago when I ran this beforehand, but and I have another one pre-prepped up here. But let's see, is it gonna go? Actually, I'm just gonna start it from scratch here because I want you to show it. It is really cool. New chat, agent tool. So yeah, the need here is I have two team members are going to fly up from Fort Myers. So rather than me going to all these websites and clicking around and finding all the things that I need to for this AI will sit here and actually book the flights, search the flights. Whereas right now, the web search, you need to find static sites out there that will go ahead and have the data you're looking for. This can interact with sites. So you can log into Facebook, you can log into LinkedIn, you can log in to a number of different things. So here it's spooling up. It's finding, it's doing its research just on Spooner, Wisconsin. It's going to find out what are the closest airports to it. It's searching for the different airports that are associated to that. And I've used it. I went and tested it. I went and had logged into LinkedIn, and I'm like, give me a list of 10 people I should know that I don't currently. So it went in here, it pops it up and says, please put in your credentials. So you log in with your credentials, get into LinkedIn, and then it's going looking at my friends, looking at my profile, identifying where I am, and then it went and gave me a list of 10 people that it thinks I should friend. So here you can see it's going through right now, just searching all the, yeah, Fort Myers, Sun Country, going up to Duluth. It'll go to Minneapolis. And after it goes here for a little while, and we'll check in on this a couple times as we're doing, you'll eventually get to where it gives you this type of output. So here's some nonstop options for Wednesday. Here's ones for Tuesday. I could go ahead and tell it, all right, I like that Delta one on the 21st. Could you book that for me? And let's return on Sunday. All right. Well, it's definitely giving me a little more issues now. I wonder if it doesn't like me running two virtual instances at one time on the same account. So we'll let this one continue to run, but you can use this type of thing just to search really anything you want at all. So the output of this one was these result options here. So it actually Sun Country and then Delta, which are really your two main options down there if you want direct flights, because those are the ones that they Delta into Minneapolis or Sun Country into Minneapolis as well. I wouldn't recommend Sun Country myself. I've had some bad experiences on Sun Country. I got to fly down to Fort Myers and they had me land in Miami instead of Fort Myers, and that was a fun opportunity. But it's hard to beat those prices. You know, you always say no, and then you're like $78. Well, maybe, right?
One thing to note here is Rod, you're on the pro version, right? I'm on the plus, and the plus has this as well. So
Yeah, I think
that's
they
pretty
rolled it
cool.
out to all the profiles, even the free ones. I think have this. So like, yeah, anyone wants to log into ChatGPT, just go ahead and down here choose agent, and then have it search for something that you want it to do that requires you to get past a password. And the biggest value of this is just that you can actually search and have it research live data for you instead of having to just find static text that it's pulling in. So, any question on that or thoughts?
I just wanted to provide a bit of feedback. I actually used it already and flew to New York from Chicago. This thing bought a ticket for me for $150 last week,
Nice.
round trip.
So yeah, there proof it works. Have you used it for anything else other than that since you've been playing with it?
No, that pretty much it. I needed a last minute booking going to New York, and instead of all the way looking for, Google Flights or even just interaction with that agent helped me quite a bit. It seems to be, it did throw a couple arrows to me, just like it was for you, but after refresh, it actually went just fine.
Yeah, and I'll show a couple of different searches I've done too. Let's see. Like here's a restaurant that I had it search, and it went and searched like I don't know how many, but it was quite a few different restaurants, and then it finally got me a reservation for it. So I told it I'm going to Chicago this weekend with my wife. What's a nice restaurant I can go to and can you me to a booking reservation? So any of us with spouses who want to look like rock stars, this is an easy way for us to score some points, right? Find a nice restaurant that we didn't have to do any research on. You could probably also have it book or get flowers for or whatever concert tickets. Yeah, here's my LinkedIn one. Something else I like about this because I was testing this for security is that after the instance dies, it can't restart it with your credentials. So it's almost starts it up like in an incognito mode, and then once it closes, it loses all the credentials that it had from what I saw. So here I asked, can you go to LinkedIn, search for me, find me contacts of people I should know. It goes and continues. I had to take control because I had to add in my credentials into it. But then it went and searched, and these are all the people locally that it thought I should know about and should go friend based off its searching of LinkedIn for me. And technically, just so everyone's knowing, it's on recording. I think that is a violation of the terms of service of LinkedIn. So because LinkedIn's terms of service specifically cite that you're not allowed to use any AI to pull data out, and this is by definition using an AI to pull data out. So it'll be interesting to see how they work around that in the future.
So
I don't see the agent in the free version. So I'm guessing
Yeah, I
that's
didn't.
maybe for plus and above.
All right.
I was going to ask when the browser takes control, did that just show a browser window that had you log into LinkedIn? Is that?
Yeah, it looks just like this, and then there's a button here that says takeover. I think it showed it up here. Oh no, it just said took control. So there's a button that says take over, and then it's just like you're remoting into a computer through a web browser. If you've ever done any of us in IT have done that a lot, but that's what it looks like. This pops up about 80% of the screen, and then all right, so there, my first one looks like it came the same. So let's see if we can do this here. Can you book the Delta one from the 23rd to the 26th? I like that. Let's get that locked down. So this should, if it works correctly, actually let me do the takeover, and then you'll see it live on the screen. And you could use it, I mean, hotels, if your vehicle died, you needed a rental or a tow truck, it might work well for that. But here
Did we lose him?
Frozen.
All right, I'm not frozen. Maybe he is though.
Yeah.
That's interesting. When I teach my classes, if I'm on my Zoom connection dies, if I have any browser tabs open that are doing a lot of advertising's going on in them. So
Sorry. Is everyone still back?
Yeah, we're here.
My hotel internet had a blip.
What's
All right, so you
what's
didn't
been
miss
the
any of the
average? What's
magic.
been the average time on these, Rod, that you've kind of experienced so far doing these?
Probably 15 minutes. So it's something you type in, you go work on something else, and when you come back, it's ready to go. So here you can see it's entering the times in there on when we're going to do all this stuff. I'll see if I can make this bigger too.
so it's opening a browser window and clicking on all the right things for you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Wow.
That's what makes this super cool.
Huh.
And they'll get it better and better right now. Again, it's still, I mean, it just came out last week. And I think they came out with this because Perplexity last month or this month released a web browser that the entire web browser itself is an AI agent that does all this stuff. Now you have to pay $200 a month for it, but this was their answer to that. They're also working on a web browser. And I know Opera web browser has an embedded AI within it now as well. I think it's their own local model, but I'm sure they'll expand that. So while this capability right now is limited to a couple tools, within the next month or two, we're going to see this type of features coming right into Chrome, right into Internet Explorer, right into or Edge, right into Opera, and as well as adding or Copilot. I'm sure we'll start to be able to do this on your physical computers itself.
So I use a car rental site called AutoSlash where they actually track your car rental and look for a lower rate. And so, like I said, it's a service and you don't really have to pay for it, but regardless, this would actually do that for you. You could actually,
Yeah.
have the AI searching for a better rate for you constantly and let you know when there was one.
Yeah, and these are type of things that, especially from a business perspective, it starts to make the $20 and $200 a month accounts worth it.
I'm curious, do you know that if it could link to like your ERP, travel reimbursement or travel planning system through API, like engineers that are going on a project, um, you know, SAP or whatever, do you think that it can link to that and just pull in the data?
You would likely need to build a custom integrator for that because this option, to my knowledge, is not available via their API yet, ChatGPT's API. But I would bet, yeah, I'd bet hard money on it within the next 2 to 3 months. There will be a service that allows you to do this through an API. And then you could build a piece of middleware that does that.
Yep.
And I'll show a couple pieces of middleware that, or yeah, I'll touch a little bit on some AI stuff that kind of like that health system, HRIS system we built. What was it, May or whenever that was? But those
Yeah.
type of tools are becoming very, very common, and like at Coulee Tech, we're using them more and more. We're building just custom little one-off tools for different problems because it's so quick to do, and our clients are loving it.
Is this, from your experience, Rod, has this been giving options for like the top three, like lowest priced ones, or is there other metrics you've seen that it takes into consideration?
Well,
when
here's
it
here's
picks?
the options, Aaron, that it gave me, and I told it to do this one.
All right. The reason I'm thinking is, if let's say you're searching for a service for your company or for yourself, like you want somebody to come out and do work, but maybe they don't offer pricing, is it going to consider that in that option, or
What I think for those of us who are business owners, or if you're in HR, or if you're trying to be found on the web, this here is a drastic shift away from what we were, the world we used to work on. because we used to be concerned about SEO, getting people to our site. But like in this example here, I didn't say to go to Expedia. It found Expedia for me. I didn't I didn't tell it to do any of these things. I just told it to go search and pull back numbers, right? So any airline that I couldn't get numbers from wouldn't have even been in my option. So like when we're looking at our websites on how we want to design those, we need to be looking at it from a perspective of what if an AI is there? Is there enough information on that website to give that for the AI to recommend us to the user that's using it?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that, which I'm glad you picked up on that. So yeah, it's interesting. So it's great. It's great for these things, but it does bring in some different thought processes, especially if you've got, let's say somebody who's looking for a job and they use this.
Yeah.
Are they going to pass your company up? Maybe because you don't have whatever the trigger mechanism is for this thing to consider you as an option as an employer for them.
Well, yeah, for hiring, it might mean that we need to be more transparent on our website about what we're offering. Because someone might be earning, let's say, $18 an hour if they find that they get a $20 an hour job somewhere else because they had an AI search do it. But if you didn't say that your rate is $20 an hour, if the AI couldn't determine how much would this person be earning, that potential job seeker won't even be presented with your job because they don't know how much that is likely going to be earning off of it.
So the tool that you mentioned, or the tools that you mentioned earlier, that like the one-offs that you're creating for your clients, are you talking about MCP servers, or are you talking about different tools? Or
So I'll go into a couple of them. So like this here is I had a well, actually
that was from yesterday.
yep. Yeah, so Niall is a software developer teacher at UW or WTC there. So I was just showing him some vibe coding capabilities of this. So this was just a quick for one of his classes. But this took us what, 15 minutes to throw together?
Yeah.
It was almost nothing. So it's a live website that students could then start growing and expanding on. But it's just one example of a unique use case that an application like this, and Niall could probably, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yep. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. So Niall and I were talking like this would have taken a week or two of development, full-time development, even just 3 years ago. Whereas we threw this thing together in 15 minutes. So it's a whole class and then all his students, if they wanted to, could start to expand upon this if that's how he chose to kind of take that course or not. But just gave an example of these type of solutions that are being done. Another example, I was meeting with a different client of mine that we're comparing server upgrades. And if you ever done server discussions, they get very, very technical because you got so many different options on them. And the costs are anywhere from 10,000 to 50,000. And what's the difference between the $50,000 server and the $10,000 one? It's nothing. It's nothing like a desktop. But I can build a tool like here that could go ahead and start building those apples to apples, and they would get a nice, pretty report that just highlights the differences as a result of those. So it might take me 15 to 30 minutes, but I'm going into presentations then with something that no one else can even come close to matching. And it's highly customized. I'm not out spending a ton of time out in the marketplace looking for what is the perfect quoting tool. I just go make a perfect quoting tool.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So another example here is so my wife does all of our budget and she's great at it, but she's told me the Excel document or the Excel sheet that I made 20 years ago, she feels we've kind of hit the limit of that. We make a little bit more money now than we did 20 years ago, and she's like it's just getting where I can't get the data out of it. So she went and bought ChatGPT and worked and built a really nice elaborate tool, but something she couldn't do, transaction. And it would be difficult to do, not impossible. I know we could do it if we spend enough time, but in Excel, doing this type of stuff becomes difficult. So she wants to, like, let's say she had a Amazon or Walmart transaction. Well, she has tiers. So she's monthly. So this might be food, right? And 200 of this might be related to food. But then she might have some annual ones where we have like my daughter's birthday in here, or Ezra's birthday, or Rodney's birthday. That's what we like. And that's a yearly expense that she has, and she likes to track all it. Again, she's a super bean counter. It's great because I'm the exact opposite. I used to, when I was single, I would go ahead and go to the bank with my ATM card. I'd put it in, and that's how I found out how much money I had. And then we'd go ahead and just do that every couple days, and I made sure it didn't go negative. So anyway, so I
Hey, Rodney?
finalized this. Yeah.
Can you do like a live example of going along with your example here of just put the prompt in of give me a app similar to QuickBooks, or if people are doing this type of development, give it a reference point so the AI would know what type of tool and functionality you want it similar to.
Yeah, I could do that here. I'll do that a little bit at the end here.
All right.
And for anyone that wanted, we have a tutorial here on how to set up a local VM with Cursor, which is our primary development tool that we use. And this shows you just how to set it up like on your own local machine in a what was it, in a Docker instance, and how to connect it. So this has all the instruction. Each one of these are videos that you can click on, and
Hey,
that's
Rodney.
yeah.
When you develop these, like, say you wanted to share access to this, like your wife and you both wanted to access it and be able to enter things. Do you both have to have an account to access that? Or like when your employees are using these agents, do they have to have a separate account? Or how does that work so that people have access when they need it, and the ones that you don't want to have access don't?
So like are you talking like this personal budget manager, or are you talking about like Cursor or ChatGPT or?
I'm talking about like the other kind of the HRIS you developed. How do your employees access that if you created it? Is it through Cursor? So do they have to have a Cursor account?
No, any app that you make here, you actually determine how they access it. So that gets in a little bit of access control. If you're going to jump into an HRIS system, we'd want to go ahead and actually look at the authentication you're using for that, and that'd be a little bit more high end.
Yep.
Whereas this here was just for my wife to track. Like if hackers got a hold of this, I mean, we're never putting credit card information in here, and there's nothing.
Right.
People are going to find out how much I spent on my wife, and they're going to be like, "You should spend more." I'm like, "I know," but that's about the limit of what a tool like this would be. So you'd want to go through a review of, if it is sensitive, probably work with your IT team, or give me a call. I'll be happy to hop on like a free 30-minute call with you to go ahead and go through how would you want to set this up. If you're doing it through the county, we would need to work with your it likely need to be CGIS compliant and a couple other compliance that we need to make sure it meets. But it's not rocket science to get set up correctly. It just depends on how big you want to do it. But something you could do is like expense submission. That'd be, you can basically just depersonalize it down to, you wouldn't want people like submitting medical expenses, but if someone's putting a gas receipt, you don't care. I mean, you can still make it secure, but just from a worst case scenario, if it did get breached, do you really care about gas receipts getting breached?
No.
So you just do a risk scenario of the type of data that is there, and start with low risk data, then just to get super, like I was talking to a client yesterday too about, they're talking about they just have like forms and process approvals that we could build that within Copilot or within the 365, but you can also build a simple app like here that just goes and approves that. So there's a lot of different options that you can do on stuff like that. All right, so we're back here. So let's see if I can take this over or if I timed out. Come on, work. Yeah. So here I can actually put here I'm actually booking the flight. Rodney A. Holm at Coulee.tech. My email and cell are all over the internet, so I have no concern about any of this. But yeah, so I mean, if anyone's booked a flight, this is your actual book. I'm not going to put my credit card in there on a recording though, you guys. But yeah, so yeah, that's a pretty decent little, for $200. That's a round trip ticket, Yeah, it's not bad at all. Anyway, and you actually have tabs here, and you can tell they're using Chrome because you could. Oh, I'm pretty sure this is Chrome. Yeah, Google Services. So you might even be able to manage profiles. All right. They've added some things in here. I didn't know if I could log in with my email. But see there, I just broke it. So I'd have to go and rerun this. Let's see if I can take it over again. Yeah, see. I got exploring and I basically broke it, so I'd have to do a new search again. So not perfect, but pretty cool for a first, in my opinion, a first go at it for adding that type of capability in there. But so something else I want to touch on here. Any other questions on like the searching or those features? All right, no questions. So over the
But
last
before-
month, we've had a number of
before you
new
move-
model. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, before you move on, you touch up on that custom applications that you have created with this budgeted app. Do you, where do you host them? I mean, the one that you showed was just on your desktop or locally, but do you host them on servers, or how do you do that?
Yeah, so like this one, you guys can actually go to if you wanted to, and that's just rod.couleetech.network.com. And this is just, so this is my server that I put stuff that won't have any sensitive information on it. So I do no security review on it. Like I have a cost control one. So this is a tool I'm piloting so that way clients can analyze their internal costs right now versus what we think an industry average for them to find excess ones, especially like zombie SaaS services, like yeah, shadow IT and unapproved subscriptions. So that way then they can go ahead and see, and you can go ahead and change the settings up here. So that way you can put like your change the colors if you want to, like that's what we want. I don't know. We'll make this thing ugly, but just to show that it. Yeah, that is ugly, huh? I succeeded. Uh, yeah, so just to do a cost analysis of what are all their IT or tech related expenses, and is there savings that's associated to that. We built this one here, which is oh yeah, I put this one. I did a real lightweight authentication on it that it does the IP address and a PIN number, but I'm at a hotel, so I'd have to log into my VPN to get it to work. But yeah, so this is just a public site that I have built, and I think it's a $10 or $20 a month DigitalOcean. Or if you go to DigitalOcean. Solutions, products, pricing. There we go. Get started. Yeah, I'm not going to log into any of the. All right, yeah. So here you go. So it's pretty per million tokens. Yeah, if you're doing. And what's great about these are, so let's say you have no idea what any of this stuff means, right? I just press Control A, bring it on over to my old handy dandy ChatGPT. Say, I want to host a website. Can you help me here? Which option would I use? So I just pasted all that random data in there, and you can start talking to it to try working out. Say, I am going to use Cursor, and I am just starting out. So give me a good recommendation for a single one.
Hey, Rodney, I just had another thought. For example, I use ChatGPT to set up a Minecraft server on a Linux box.
Mm-hmm.
If this uses web interface, could it use something like Putty or something to talk to the remote server and help you set that up?
Yeah. Yep, definitely could. I would just use Cursor if I were you, but you could use Putty and help there. So let me go. I'll go through just a couple quick things, and I'll go show my whole screen for a Cursor and show a couple examples of how you could do that. So like we had Grok 4 come out. So this is the LLM leaderboard, and I like to check this to see not just from a benchmark perspective, because the Grok one came out with really strong benchmarks. So they're top in all the charts according to at least the benchmarks. But some models are made specifically just to trick the benchmarks. So right now, according to the leaderboard, at least for text and web development, the Grok is in third place for the most part, or tied, really close tied to ChatGPT 4.0. So these are the top 4 models really that are top 4 or 5 models that are out there. And if you look at their score, I mean, their scores are very, very close, right? So if you're talking first place is 1462, and I don't know what that 1462 means other than that's that's the score that it gets right now. This one's at a 1437. So for for OpenAI, or I'm sorry, XAI to come out with a model that as really, this is one of their first major models. They had a 3.0 model, but it was really nowhere near this level. So this one, we're not going to touch a lot on this one. I did a couple examples of it, but it's just not, it doesn't do a lot that the other ones don't do. So I'll just be repeating what you're seeing here, but you can go and use it for free. Also, another one worth noting is a Chinese one, this Kimi 2. So I don't use a lot of Chinese models just because I feel that they're all stealing my data, right? But if someone's going to steal my data, I'd rather them at least be under U.S. law. So, but here's Kimi 2, or you can just click on this, and it has like the research capability. I'm not logging in. So you can search, extend, and think. But this one here is also, as you saw, it's coming pretty high on the boards here. And from a coding model, there's a lot of coding is tied to this particular model from people I've listened to on podcasts. So it'll be interesting to see how the Kimi model, and there was one other one, but in the Kimi model, from a Chinese perspective, is outdoing the DeepSeek one, which is down here at the bottom. And from a coding, DeepSeek is, right up there with Gemini 1.5 Pro. Now for Pro, like when I use Cursor, you'll see I use the Claude Sonnet because this is really expensive. This one does really, really good job, but I accidentally spent $1,000 in tokens in a week, so I'm not using that anymore. This one here is about 1/5 the cost of it. So it's far more cost effective and does probably 90% as well as this one that you see here. There's just a barely difference. But DeepSeek and Gemini do really good on a web development perspective. And I use Gemini a lot if I'm doing large context, as the Gemini model can do 1 million tokens, which is, I mean, it's a lot of data. Whereas these can only do about 200,000 tokens. The Kimi one I've seen also has about a 1 million token limit on it as well. So I think we'll see some of these Chinese models start to work their way up in this world. One thing that Grok really did well, and they'll be expanding on this, is from the base level, they did much like the Claude Opus model that they use tool usage, and tool, just like a web browser or a calculator, they're going to be adding tools in there for 3D modeling, fluid dynamics, so you can actually model the world as a whole. So, but yeah, so those are just things that we'll start seeing more and more of, and yeah. So any other questions before I move over to using Cursor? And all right, so I'll have to connect to my VPN for Cursor, and if this breaks it, I'll shut it off. All right, so if I disappear, and I'll be back. I mean, I will disappear, I know that, but all right, are you guys still here? Wow, I don't know how that happened. How did it seamlessly turn on my feed? That's never happened before. All right, I'm even connected to the right server, so that's nice. I'm gonna try to share my whole screen here. All right, so this is Cursor. So one of the things I could initially start out with. Now this is all those different sites that I have on my on that website I showed you. There you see the comp plan, cost controls. SF just stands for a single file app. It's just a folder I have in there. So I have like my class attender one. I did throw that budgeting app out on there. So that's there. But one of the things, like to get this going, because I just reloaded my laptop last week, I actually just asked the cursor that I might even have it in here. Previous chats. No, I don't. But I could ask it, I would like to connect cursor to a digital ocean droplet. What do you need to do for that? So just ask it in the chat over here. And if you start up cursor for the first time, you have to press control, I think it's I or L to get the chat going. But here it's actually giving you the instructions for, it wants a Ubuntu, it wants 2 gigs of RAM, SSH key, and it will walk you through how to set up everything, how to do the commands inside of it. And if you ever get stuck, you can take a screenshot and just paste it in here. And I use the, as I mentioned, the Claude 4 Sonnet Max is the primary one that we're using. But yeah, you can use any of these models and just kind of whatever you feel works well. I switch over to Gemini Pro sometimes because of the 1 million context token, as you can see right here, whereas the Sonnet gives you 200,000 token window. But even as last year, we're fighting with 30,000 token limits. So these here are huge improvements, and I would not be surprised if next year by this time we're seeing 10 million token limits.
So Rodney, let me just ask you a logistics for this particular app. You're just attaching your accounts for all those different tools to get access to them?
Oh, no. I think it's $20 a month for Cursor, and then you get billed by token usages by Cursor. So it's tied to your Cursor log. But I think Derek is on here, and he has a free one. So I don't know how the free one works, and if you go to your settings, I just need to make sure I don't think I have any. You can put your API keys inside here and tell it to use your API keys, but Cursor has a lot of custom prompts behind the scene that they don't give us access to per se, and those are good to use for development because things like searching, their tool usage stuff that they're using.
That's fine.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it did.
All right. All right. So we've done this a couple times, but do you want to build what is something you'd like to see built?
Well, I mean, the one example that I went back to when you were going through your personal finance thing is give it like code me a web app similar to QuickBooks, because that's back in the day QuickBooks was a thing for keeping it imagining. It doesn't have to be QuickBooks for this example, but similar to, and just pick an app that's kind of out there that's familiar to people.
Under the SF folder, could you create something called, I'm just gonna call it personal finance.
And just give it a few goals and just say similar to something to give it a point of reference. What I'm trying to drive at here is all these independent softwares that historically you would pay for, now maybe you can be developing with this kind of tool and customizing it.
All right, so here, this is a pretty short prompt for basically what we're talking about, right? If I had a very specific goal in mind, I would tell it more because it's gonna fill all the gaps I didn't give it. And if you look at this prompt here, I said under the SF folder, so under here. Oh, one thing I do want to tell it, I'm sorry. Please make it a single file with all code within that one file. Otherwise, it'll make folders and such, and then for the purposes that I use this for, that would be not ideal.
Well, I mean, at that point, you can make it a web-based app that I can deploy.
Yep. So I'll move this, expand this. So here it's going through all the project planning associated to that. Oh, it found my budget. Don't edit my budget. No, I told it to do a different file, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, yep, personal-finance.html. So here it's actually writing all the code for it.
And I thank you for putting that in the Sean Frederick folder, the SF.
Yep. Well, if you show anyone this video, just tell them that that folder is inspired by you.
Okay.
And even if you know how to do software development, there's no way you can write as fast as this thing is doing it. So this here, even for senior developers, is a huge time saver just from a raw code perspective. And we have a senior developer at our firm, and he'll go and use this, and he goes actually into the code and make sure it wrote it how he wants, or does a little more than I do. I am a pure vibe coder. I don't know what any of these. I know what a function is. It does a thing, and this is the name of my function. Constants, I think. Yeah, I don't know what any of that stuff means really, for the most part. And I haven't read or gone into almost any of these files. If it doesn't work, I literally just tell this prompt here what it's not doing, and then I go back. So I know I know high level what my apps are doing, but I don't know detail at all on it.
So, I mean, Rodney, this was just kind of tailors into the discussion that we had yesterday with Noel. It's as educators, we're trying to balance how much the students would actually have to know going forward as software developers versus how much kind of business analyst hat that they start to put on, and how that kind of program will evolve and change with these kind of tools available to them now.
Yeah, and I think you'll see a lot of change. We touched on that a little bit yesterday, but like I would almost see like we're doing now, rather than a needs assessment, you're gonna sit there with a tool like this and get a working prototype going for them, and then send it over to some senior devs to make sure it's architected correctly. And if the end users could sit there and have a user interface that works well, and then I mean that's a big win. And it also saves the devs time because they don't have to make something, deploy it, and then realize it isn't exactly what the end user wanted.
So let me ask you this question. When you posed it this task, is it chewing up tokens that you're paying for to create this tool?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So money is always relative, right? I mean, if we're working so like when I move over to my personal world, I have far less money to play with. So like if I'm going to spend $20 on something, well, I have to entertain whether or not I'm actually doing it. However, in a professional world, when the rates that we're charging clients, if I can go ahead and reduce that by a fifth, that's a huge financial savings. So while $20 in my personal life might be like, ooh, my wife's going to yell at me. $20. This app probably cost me $2 to demo here. So
Okay.
$2 really isn't big in business terms at all. You're gonna pay that, yeah. So so yeah, it just depends on the world that you're trying to work in. But I do think we're going to see a huge devaluation in overall software as a service apps because we're just going to get so many of them out there that. But
I think in Cursor too, you can. I haven't tried it myself, but I think you can set, reminders or limits, so the tool will kind of notify you if you're nearing kind of what you wanted to spend on tokens. I don't know, Rod, if you've had experience with that or not.
I have an email that comes to me when I recharge my tokens. So I caught my big expenditure because I was getting recharged like once or twice a day at $80 a pop. And I'm like, now again, I'm a little slow, right? So it took me a week to realize like, wait, that's a lot more than I normally have. So something else that this does is this actually created a to-do list. And here you can see the whole to-do list of all the stuff that it needs to do to make this a full-fledged app. So I'm going to restart my Docker instance. And then this should load something. Oh, look at there. There's a nice little personal. That's actually that did better than I thought it would.
It looks like QuickBooks.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll show my wife this and see what she thinks. And then, now I do this a lot on the apps I'm working on. These to-dos are just inside Cursor anywhere are great. So here I can tell it, can you please go through each to-do and get.
Well, I mean, just the thought process of that and how much time and effort was built into doing the original development of something like a QuickBooks, and to have AI come through in the matter of minutes just kind of reproduce something along the same vein. I mean, of course there's going to be edits and updates and checking to get it to where you want it, but just out of the gate to get there, that's interesting.
Let's see if we can do you mentioned the time it took to get the original QuickBooks going. And I'm like, well, let's see if we can do this. I also comment between your question and your rules. Oh. Why is it doing that? So I can set custom rules, but I didn't think this custom rule would have held through. Rules in memory. I'm going to delete this.
I mean, yeah, there's
there
a
we
whole
go.
there's a whole
So
science behind the tools that you're using. So
yep,
that's
I add
interesting.
rules into here if I'm working on a particular project where I'll add it like only work on this file, don't edit the server. I just forgot that I added this. So honestly, it shouldn't have even done this one here. It should have stopped me. So AIs are not perfect. But here I'm working on two. So basically it's creating the side scroller game for me. And it's going through the checklist I have basically two AIs running. And you can have 3 of these going per server you have up. And you can have as many servers up as you want. So you can pound through the tokens pretty quickly if you have a lot of these going on at one time. And there's sometimes I have 2 or 3 servers that I'm working on, and I'm really just going from one to another. I go and load it up, I test it, I tell it what it didn't do, then I go change the next. And I'm just spending my whole day going and do that. I can get it. Like this server here is I think 2 weeks old, and I've gone through a number of demos already for just different things I can do and tools we're throwing up. And I don't know if this is going to get through how many of these is going to get through, but yeah, it will go through all 15 of these and work on and get all of them done. So it's pretty cool that way. And there we have our side scroller ready. I don't know if it's ready, but and all of you on your own computer, you can go to these. This is a public site. Yeah, no, I have to restart the server for this, but I always forget that. So with Docker, you have to rebuild your Docker instance. Some of my other servers, I don't have to do that.
So let me ask you a question. I'm just trying to think out loud here. In a past life, I used to do game development and teach game development. If we were to run with a tool like Unity 3D Engine, and if the manuals and all that are out there for the Unity and the LLM knows about it, could you use an agent to say, code me a particular thing and have it go through the whole process of doing the code within the engine itself?
Yeah. So over here, I downloaded 3JS and I added that to my cost control app. So if I go to cost control, but hey, look at that. A nice little, I mean, I would say this is a success. So before I move too far on, but nice. All right. Let's go. Cost controls. So I can get 3D visualization. And then
Oh, Jesus.
this is basically a full 3D engine that I built in a single prompt. And this takes the data from that that cost analysis and then gives you a 3D model of it. And you could, I mean, you can do really sky's the limit on this thing, right? And we can go ahead and view all, stay focused, auto rotate. So you want to have a nice little auto rotate in there, huh? Just like a auto dealership.
Yeah.
And I just did this as a test. I haven't spent any time trying to refine this thing, but I'm like, that's pretty cool. So one is like industry average versus cost, so you can kind of see. But I could easily optimize this to be better, or you could turn it into an airplane flying game if you want to do that way, or if you want to make a 3D model of WTC, so that, and then that'd be a fun little project for your students, and it can build the 3D model. It can, sky's the limit on what you can do on this side of the fence stuff. But for all of us in our work to be able to gain the ability to quickly build tools for this is, in my opinion, going to be as powerful for us as giving someone internet access for the first time in the 90s. So these are all just different examples of different tools that we build. But if I'm in a meeting with a client, I just sit and talk to them. If they say, hey, I want to do something XYZ, I will almost build a custom app for that project just so we can manage it with them in a way that they can see how they made their little unicorn. And it works so nicely. All right. Any questions or anything else that anyone wants to see? Yeah, see, this is still going through those checklists. Which is
Now you
great,
might
right?
now you might have to use that with your wife.
I'll let her create the checklist. I'll build it. She'll use it. She'll be happy. I'll be happy. Life is good.
Well, I mean, I could see something like this being a little bit more complex by putting it onto like a Linux server, personal home server,
Mhm.
and then you having a VPN into it. That way you can use it on a mobile device.
Yeah, and honestly, if anyone wants, I have tons of old computers that would work for Linux. Like if you ever want just a random computer, just shoot me a message and we can have you stop by the office and we have a recycle pile of computers that we've depersonalized all the data on them, so they're just blank slates, but they're far too weak to be in a production or in a business environment.
Do you have any small form factor ones? Because I got larger ones that just I'm looking to start downsizing.
Why don't you shoot me a message next week? I'm down in Southern Illinois, so I'll I'll just remember to take a picture and shoot that over to you of what we have. It's a pile.
right. Thanks.
I mean, like it's like a 3 foot tall pile, and Aaron, you probably got a pile up there in Eau Claire too, right?
Yeah, we got a couple right now, not a ton.
There's going to be a lot of plenty powerful computers that are going to be unsupported in Windows 10 coming soon.
Yep.
And a lot of those are going to be the minis. So it's really sad that 11 doesn't support them, but is what
Yep.
it
Yeah.
is.
Anything. I think it's what's a 7th gen processor or earlier doesn't or 6th gen, 6th or 7th gen. But yeah, no, we're going through quite a few recycle projects that. So if you want and Linux will work just great on these. So they're.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if
I'm
anyone wants
going
a
on.
fun,
I'm going through that process with my home computer. I got to do a BIOS upgrade, and then the motherboard should support 11. It said so.
all right.
But the
Yeah.
requirements for 11 are just kind of, they obsolete a lot of stuff, which is going to upset a lot of people.
Yeah, I have those meetings with my clients all the time. Like, no, you need to upgrade this, and they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Microsoft, don't blame me. Don't shoot the messenger, please." But yeah, any other questions or things you want to go over or see?
No, I mean, thank you, Rodney. There's tons of stuff. It's just my wheels are spinning the more that you introduce us to what tools are out there and little bits of what they can do. You start to extrapolate little directions you want to head with them and try different things.
All right. Well, you guys have a good weekend, and we'll see you guys at the end of August.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
All right. Bye,
Bye.
Rodney.
Thank you.
Safe
Bye.
travels.
Thanks.